Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
I seriously condemn the killing of policemen, just as I condemn police brutality on Nigerians. Just as I welcome the respective power of inquiry by respective states, even though I have some reservation about the sincerity and ability of federal government to implement whatever comes out of it. Because I have my reasons. So, to police, I think they should rekindle that morale. They should, because if you see, look at what has happened. In a way, it is going to benefit the police immensely. Because their welfare is part of the 5 for 5, and the government have taken it into consideration, and they are giving it consideration. So eventually, their morale is going to be boosted. And again,
which means the protest will have an impact.
Of course, the protest is for them. And again, I learned that the IG will be moving around different formations of the police to actually rejuvenate their demoralization, to bring them back to action. But again, they are human. I can understand that at the time the populace were calling for their head, the government was not totally there for them. So they didn't know actually where to fall back to. Because the public was calling, because it's without exception. Once you're a policeman, you are seen as bad. That is wrong anyway. Because there may be some other policemen, there may be some policemen who may not be that bad. But it's unfortunate that they have been robbed with the same brush. But having said that, I think the IG should continue with the tour of their formations to ensure that he gives them that encouragement. And again, they should know that they have a responsibility to police Nigerian state. And again, they should know that it is out of their personal volition they sign on to that job. And they should know that it's a clarion call. And again, they should know that the citizens are their employer. They are our employee. And in the same vein, they should know that they should treat Nigerians with decorum going forward. They should know that there is a rule of engagement. I was listening to Bode George, and they were asking him about the incident that happened at Togit. I didn't even know that he's a retired military personnel. He said that there is something they call what they call it, military. There is a situation where you need to involve the military in civil matters. But the way he analyzed it, he said you needed the Inspector General of Police to notify the Chief of Army Staff, who in turn seek approval from Mr. President for deployment of military personnel. Even at the level of deployment, he said there are so many windows available to the military that they will use that is not kinetic, rather than that brute force. So he talked about trying to persuade the people, trying to dialogue with them, and all these were lacking on that fateful day. So I think the police should know that. And again, if the police decide to create vacuum as a result of this demoralization, people will start yearning for state police. So I don't think if they know what is right for them, they should even swing into action and resume their respective duty posts. Because if they create vacuum, definitely the society will not want that vacuum to exist. People will start yearning for state police. And if that happens, everybody will see that there is a need, there is a vacuum that has been created, and there is a need to fill it. So I sympathize with them because they have been demoralized, and because they find it difficult to, especially those that are good eggs among them,
find it difficult to come back.
Yes, I sympathize with them. But having said that, they have to resume with immediate effect, because policing of a society is a critical sector of any society, and you cannot toil with it. You cannot create vacuum. In as much as we are saying the government, and again, let me use this opportunity to say that I want to encourage Mr. President, because we are now seeing people coming out to different panel of inquiry in respective states, trying to make their case. I've read so much during this period, Mr. Mike. And worrisome is that I've seen that police is not alone in this illegality. I can categorically tell you this. The Attorney General of the Federation is involved. The respective Attorney Generals of the states are involved. CBN is involved. I will tell you how. I've read so many stories how some Nigerians will be extrajudicially killed. They will go to court. Sometimes it takes them up to 5, 6, 7 years to get justice, to get judgment. Now, after that judgment, you needed Attorney General of the Federation to enforce the payment. Attorney General of the Federation will reluctantly abandon, will not give it attention. And in most cases, these people will go to court again to seek garnishee, they call it garnishee order, to compel the Attorney General of the Federation to obey that court order. Even at that, in some few cases where the Attorney General of the Federation will obey that order that compels him to obey the court order, now CBN becomes another hurdle, because the CBN is the one that needs to make the payment from the source, depending on the government agency that is involved in that extrajudicial killing or violation of human rights. So in most cases, it is until the same person goes back to court to seek an order compelling the CBN governor or whoever is in charge to make the payment before they see the need to do the needful. So I think when we are talking about reform, I think it's a holistic thing. And again, I think going forward, our National Assembly should look at laws that will empower even judges to even dismiss erring or to dismiss government functionaries who refuse to obey court order, because it's worrisome. Because if a society where rule of law does not apply is already anarchy. How can you explain a situation where there will be a valid court order? Somebody who is as honorable as the CBN governor, as the Attorney General of the Federation, will ignore it. And you find out that in most cases, if you drag these military personnel, police personnel to court, they don't attend to court, they don't come, because they know that impunity runs great in our system. They know that at the end of the day, you cannot bring them to justice, you cannot bring them to book.
All right. Still talking about the NSAS protest, which has demoralized the police. Some of the policemen are saying that they won't resume duty. Some of them.
On what basis?
Some of them, they are demoralized.
Okay.
And some of them said they won't respond to distress calls. Now, your take on this, and what do you think needs to be done, especially from the IG to his men?
In the first place, I will not totally dismiss the usefulness and the importance of policing the society, because it's an important arm of the government in order to checkmate the excesses both on the part of the citizens and to maintain order and the laws of the land. But unfortunately, in this clime called Nigeria, most of the crime atrocities are perpetrated by the so-called security officials. You see, just take an instance. Just within these few weeks, let me say 2-3 weeks, people have been going about their duty without being harassed. You can record, zero,
Crime rate, right?
crime rates within these 3 weeks. So that most of these crime have been organized by the so-called security officer personnel. You see, they could give their arms to the miscreants to cause mayhem, to raids. I've not seen any person being harassed. Otherwise, you would have seen them with their vehicles, with their Black Maria moving around and arresting people without discretion. So it is seen virtually without them, the society can be better off. So if they are demoralized, of course, they are demoralized because their source of making money could no longer be feasible. You see them extorting the masses on daily basis. You can see an average policeman on the Nigerian street, on road, will be going, might likely make more than his basic salary, monthly basic salary, in a day or in a week. So that's why they give themselves, they push themselves so hard, irrespective of the pain they may have caused the masses. You can see the level of brutality. If you don't dance to their tune, they are ready to waste you. I have been told that in a vehicle, I boarded a car from Lagos to Abuja along that Lokoja road. Eventually, one of the SARS, they just jumped out, you see, without any caution, and ordered the driver to stop instantaneously, which is not possible. And the driver was trying to apply brake in order to lower the speed because it's already on high speed. And if you have to match the brake, it might lead to something else. Then they threaten us with gun. You see, I was just going for an interview, and they said they will open fire on us and tag us criminals. You see, they have to delay us for over 2.5 hours. We are already late by the day. You know, from Lagos to Abuja should take over average of 12 hours. And taking additional 3 hours wasted with all the hold up and whatever we experience. So this kind of people, let them be demoralized, of course. Why? Because they have been disappointed. The people are crying for a good and decent society, which psychologically they have been taught. I mean, these people should be subjected, if at all they will come back, they should be subjected to psychological tests.
Even some of them are afraid to come out.
They should be afraid. People that are inhaling
their uniform is very difficult.
They are inhaling Indian hemp. Indian hemp has become a normal, basic coffee for them, daily routine. You see, and when they inhale all sorts of stimulants, you see them behaving like animals. So if they are demoralized, that is their own cup of tea. We are just calling for a sane society where the rule of law, where things, I mean, police should be after the protection of life of the citizens and not the reverse. You see, they said about over 30,000 we are wasted about, is it in 6 years or 10 years, by the SARS, which is more of the cases that have not been reported. The cases of molestation, cases of, assassination that have not been reported. So for me, it is a good thing. But for those good ones, I know there are good ones among them. The spirits should be lifted to serve the people, and this is the right time for them to be rewarded for their, of course, selfless service to the humanity. So I advocate that the government should, encourage them by way of, making so many incentives available to them.
Do you expect this time around? Of course, part of the agitation of Nigerian youth during the demonstration that took place some weeks ago is a reform of the police force, a reform in that sector, which we are expecting this time around to take place. Now, what kind of police force, what kind of attributes do you want to see in Nigeria police force?
First and foremost, we are not ready yet, because the foundation, the real roots of the police force, they've not gone to it. We are just scratching the surface. Number one, most of these people in the police force, they are frustrated people. Most of them enter the police force because of what? They do not get job. Most of them, if you check deep down in them, they are just doing it to keep body, soul, and spirit together. And the society as a whole does not even have a criteria. If you want to join the police force, most of them say you must have at least minimum of secondary school. But now, part of the reform during the NSAS is that a minimum qualification of police should be OND. Let's take, for instance, the Inspector General of Police. What are the reforms he has put in place? There was a pressure on him that they have to scrap SAS. They have to scrap SAS. They have to scrap SAS. But what happened? What happened? They scrapped SAS and they brought SWAT. What is the platform? How are they going to go into SWAT? Who are the people that are going to go into it? All those ones were ignored. The question on ground, we've not started yet. Because if you look at the Inspector General of Police, since this administration came into power, it's one-sided. It's coming from an announcer man, a full announcer man.
And I think the SWAT unit is on training right now.
The question is that, how do they get those people? What are the modality? You understand? How did these people? What are the?
How were they enlisted?
How were they enlisted? Is the youth carried along? You understand? The list are not, the public are not carried along. All of them, they will just come out and they will still misbehave more than SARS. I want to say this. The police are supposed to be people that have loyal and they are dignity to the society. Rather, if you watch people that join the police, most of them are armed robbers. Sorry to say, there are some of them that have dignities. But out of 100% of them, about 85 of them are not loyal. They are thieves, they are armed robbers.
They are there for their selfish
They are there for their own selfish interests. But one of the things is that we need to go back to the foundation. The police college, it was the colonial system that they are using, that they are still using up to today. We've not started yet. Because since they said they are demoralized, you understand? The question is this: you are paying a police officer, the maximum is 50,000 naira, and you expect that person to defend people's life. Won't he go extraordinary mind to look at how to get more money? And I've even heard that those at the top, the IG and the rest, the Algas, are the one giving them. They are the one giving them target. You must bring so amount of money per week. And these people will have to go out. These people will have to go out by all means to ensure that they meet the Algas demand. Enough is enough. Let us not start this thing they said. The foundation need to be treated before we can get it right. If we don't get it right, we can never get it right. That's my take.
And on this note, I say goodbye to you on today's edition of Bystanders at Distance. Thanks so much for joining us. Beautiful, intelligent reviewers and viewers across the globe. Michael Adekule still remains my name. Behind the camera is Femi Davis and Sheyi. Sheyi is another very good editor at Flip TV. You can subscribe to our sister channel, Flip TV Plus. You can also join me on Facebook, Michael Temitayo Adekule, MICHAL, Michael Temitayo Adekule. Have a good weekend, everyone. Bye.